Hello, everyone. We are here once again, as we are every single Tuesday at 1:30 Pacific Standard Time, to go over a exciting session. And today we do have a very exciting session. Today is entitled Questions to Determine If You Truly Have a Client Mindset. Now, here's what we're going to do today. I know there's a lot of lip service on this idea of I have a client mindset. I care about my clients. Well, today we're going to dive a little bit into overall the thought process for a client. We're going to look at some client insights. We're going to really start off with why should I even have a client mindset? Will it really change anything? And then we're going to go into recommendations to really make this drive your success forward. And lastly, I've got a test for you on some questions that will drive the point finally home. Do you truly have a client mindset? All right, let's get started. First, and I don't mean this in a derogatory way, but why care? Why do we need? I mean, I'm a hard worker. I do my job, okay? I'm there for my clients. Why do I need to have a true client mindset? All right, this is why. One, when you truly, and we're going to go into what this means, but when you truly have a client mindset, you have more business wins right now, which means you win more listing presentations, you attract more listing presentations, and you win more buyer presentations. Next, it helps you extend your relationship. So let's say you've got past clients in Sphere. You want them to be with you forever or as long as you're in the business. So the reality of it is having a true client mindset. We're going to show you how that extends those relationships longer. It creates more raving fans, which is a powerful thing because you know what raving fans do? Not everyone who just has a good transaction, but raving fans talk about you with a lot of other people. And that's a powerful way, of course, to grow your business. And it attracts more referrals. All right. Ultimately, why should I have truly a client mindset? Because it brings in a ton more business to you. And I'm going to prove that to you today. All right, so let's kind of in review, just quickly go over the client thought process. We've talked about how clients choose their agent. Why do they choose the agents that they do? All right, now we've talked in the past, they want the hyper-local expert. They want a trusted advisor who is also their advocate and has their back. Totally true. They want to feel real, true value that they're getting if they hire you to do the job. All right. Keep this in mind. Everything I just said with those, it's absolutely still the case. It's absolutely true. But that is created over time with you providing consistent results over an extended period of time. So beautiful. So I'm not arguing with those. I think those are very, very true. But I want to come from a different angle today so you can really internalize this. I want to say every reason why that a client chooses an agent, we're going to categorize it in their reasons. It's their reasons. Hey, the ones I mentioned, probably absolutely part of it. But let's just classify it in why do they choose the agents they do? For their reasons. For their reasons. Think about this. A lot of people do things in the world we don't understand. Sometimes it's not a good thing that they do. But I promise you this, they do it for their own reasons. Their reasons don't even have to make sense. Their reasons don't have to be good. So take away good or bad. But we're going to classify them, whatever people do, they do it for their own reasons. Sometimes we don't have to understand it, doesn't matter. They do it for their own. So we're going to classify this the same way. They do it for their own reasons. Now, Can we say also that now bringing it back to real estate, if they're doing it for their own reasons, they also feel, most likely, that this is a good decision for them. For them. It's a good decision for them, probably good for their family, good for their finances, good for them overall. Can we agree on that? All right, so they make the decision for their own reasons, and they feel it's a good decision for them. See, here is tip number one, and this is huge, and I hear this a lot. I hear sales executives say to me at different times, Mark, I got to tell you, my clients choose me for me. I mean, I just got to say, they don't even think about anything else. They choose me for me. And I'm going on record right now to say that cannot be more incorrect. Let me tell you what the real answer is. Your clients choose you for them. See, at that moment in time, they believe you are the best choice for them. They believe you are the best choice for their finances. You are the best choice for their family. You are the best choice, for buying or selling real estate at that moment in time. However, be careful, because if you don't internalize this tip, this point, they can cut you away like a bad habit. And don't worry, it doesn't get confrontational wise, What happens is they just don't use you next time. And I know this happens to all of us. It happens to every sales executive out there. You're driving home, you see another sign in the yard, or you've heard someone else bought a house and they didn't use you. And you know what? To the life of you, you can't figure out, I really have a great relationship with them. We really got along well. In fact, I remember them telling me how much of a great job, I did. This is key. See, if we really internalize what we covered and they did it for their reasons, and at that moment in time, they felt, that you were the right choice, then if they make a different choice, we just have to respect, they still did it for their own reasons. And I guess at that moment in time, the new moment in time, they did not feel that I was the best decision for themselves, their finances, and their family. So now, what do you get? I mean, if we have relationships with people, we have past clients, we have Sphere, what really do we get out of having that relationship? You just sold someone a home, you created a relationship. Well, you get a ton of positives, One is you get in the door first. So if they are going to do something again, many times you have the opportunity, and I say opportunity, to get in the door first. Why? Well, you're already a trusted commodity. They already know who you are. You get to tell your value add story. You have built-in insight on the relationship. You've worked together prior, maybe you know each other through somebody else, whatever. You have more insight, than you would have if you've never met this person. And then last but not least, it helps you get a leg up on the competition. So if we're talking about relationships, let's just put them in that category. Those are great benefits. What I don't want you to do, and this is tip number 2, is fall into the trap that says, because I know them, because I feel I did a good job, even though they said I did a good job, that I've got the business in the bag. They will choose me. My Sphere loves me for me. No, they don't. They may love you, but I promise you this, they will never love you more than they love them. And that's not a negative thing, You have to respect that. And when you respect it, you get closer to being truly an individual, a real estate sales executive that has a true client mindset. So let's talk now some tips around, all right, Mark, I'm sold. I get that. Yes, what you just covered, it has happened to me. I have lost a client that truly I thought would use me. And by the way, I feel should have used me. I did a great job for them. I get it. All right. So if that's happened to each one of us, what are some tips that we can do? Because ultimately what we want to do is nurture those relationships. Okay, one, you have to respect and protect your clients' ongoing and changing needs. Let me repeat that. Respect and protect your clients' ongoing and changing needs. See, sometimes sales executives get caught in standing still. Even if they're good, they do the same thing again and again and again, and they don't grow and get better. See, but if I'm your client, that's unacceptable. For me personally, the one you didn't get, I wanted you to grow and get better. The people I work with, I want them to be the best. We talked about earlier, you know what? The expert, the hyperlocal expert, I don't want the hyperlocal expert to stop learning about my area and what's going on and missing new information. You got to stay on top of it. If you're in the business, it never ends. Okay? So you have to respect and protect that. If you don't respect it, it will affect what you do on an ongoing basis. You need to communicate. So the next is you need to communicate your results to your clients. What do I mean? Well, what ultimately this comes down to is you have to forward pace your clients. All right, so when you have a successful transaction, you're not bragging in any way, shape, or form to them, but you are sharing with them why you do what you do and why it's in their best interest. See, the more I share with you how I utilize my expertise to help and protect you and help you win, all right, gives me, okay, that opportunity to share with you why you work with me. If you assume that they get it, again, you do that at your own peril. Again, this is not bragging. This is sharing with them on a consistent basis why you do what you do and why it's in their best interest. And that's why you do it. Another way to help with that is client testimonials. For those of you who are not asking for your client to give their testimonial, certainly it'll help you on social media. Absolutely. But it's more powerful even than that, is it lets them put in writing the expertise that you had. And maybe some of those very specific things that you did that truly show you were their advocate, you were the expert, and you certainly had their back. And see, if you're their trusted advisor, okay, and you're doing these successes for them, they're again more apt to come back to you. But please keep in mind, over time, people are living their lives. They're not living yours. So out of sight, out of mind. You have to have a premeditated plan of attack to stay in the minds of your clients. Listen, some of the technology that we have as a company, like AdWorks, you're learning about our VAC 2.0. All these things are set up that communicate the way the client wants to be communicated to and put you in the forefront of their mind. All right, next, you want to consistently communicate how grateful and how much you appreciate their trust in you and their willingness to work with you. That is a consistent over time. So you're constantly letting them know, thank you. I appreciate you. All right? I'm grateful for all the referrals, and I'm grateful for all you do. That's not just on every letter, love your referrals, love your referrals. It's got to be authentic. It's got to be real. You're letting them know you're grateful. We all know time flies. It really does. In calling the birthdays every year, I've learned that birthdays used to be 12 months apart. Now they seem about 6 months apart. Maybe that's because I'm getting older. Whatever the reason is, time flies by. And as time goes by, sometimes months and months go by, and we haven't really communicated as much as we thought, or we haven't sent that grateful message as often as we should. Listen, you don't want to be a pain in the butt. Probably an analogy is, the waiter or waitress that comes to your table and they come just too much. They're in front of you just too much. Okay, that can be a problem as well. So that is a little bit of an art. You don't want to be too much and you don't want to be too little. You want to be right in the middle. So you're communicating with them using technology, utilizing voice to voice, and you're communicating to them, but you're not overdoing it. All right? And ensure your actions always places your clients first. Your actions place your clients first. Great analogy for this is, and maybe it's not a great analogy. I think it is, but it's like parents with their kids. Before I have two teenage girls, and before you make decisions in so many different ways, you can't help yourself, but your kids come into your mind. Well, we can't do that, or we shouldn't do that, or, all right, well, if we do that, how is that going to affect Why? Because they're truly on your mind. Well, you've got to make sure that the actions you take truly have the best interest of your clients in mind. And if they don't, that pushes you away from truly having a client mindset. Now, I have a test for you now that I am going to ask you some questions. And I want you to think about these questions. All right? And you can watch this again on social media when we send it out if you want to really think about this. But these are powerful questions that will tell you if you truly have a client mindset. All right. First, when you make a business decision, do you also consider the needs of your buyers and sellers prior to making that decision? So you're going to make a business decision for your business. Do you only think about you? Or when you make the decision, you're saying, okay, this is got to be good for me and my business, but I also got to make sure that it's a good choice for my buyers and sellers. Do you ask that question prior to making that business decision? Next, does your marketing support your buyers and sellers' needs? Does your marketing support your buyers and sellers' needs? Don't get caught up in this in a standpoint that says, hey, listen, well, a lot of my marketing just generates me business. Wait a minute. If you're a great agent and you truly have a client mindset, attracting you more business so they work with you and your company versus another agent in their company is in your client's best interest. That used to be a motivator for me when I sold. I said, Mark, you've got to connect with as many clients as possible, because if you don't, they could end up with someone who doesn't have their back, and you will always have their back. So attracting more business is truly in, your client's best interest if you have a client mindset. All right? Do your systems support the needs of your buyers and sellers? Do your systems. So if you don't have systems and you're skipping over that point, you're skipping over supporting your buyers and sellers in that way. How do I leverage my company and their support to better support the needs of my buyers and sellers? Again, if you're not participating and you skip over these systems and support, you're basically saying, I'm not going to worry about that now. And to say that, what you're really saying is, I'm not beating you up, I'm just telling you like it is, all right, is, you know what, I'm focused on me right now and not what me does to my buyers and sellers. Well, you need to focus on what me, and in this example, you, do, and how the decisions you make affect your buyers and sellers. It should come up automatically, everything you do. And if you're doing that, I promise you this, it'll not only change your business decisions, but it'll change your actions on a day-to-day basis when you truly are asking this question each and every time. Here's one. Do I interact with other agents in a way that's in the best interest of my clients? We've all had agents that are very difficult to deal with. In some ways, I want to pull my hair out. Oh my God, if they would just do their job. I'm so tired of doing both sides of the transaction. and truly only getting compensated for one side. I get it. I get it. But the question is, how do you interact with other agents, and are you considering those actions, and are they in support of your buyers and sellers? See, when you really internalize that, I promise you this much, it will change how you interact. You'll be able to keep your patience longer. You will be very careful not to mess with any scenario that you know what? Oh, I'd love to give this person an earful, but I'm focused on where I should be. What's in the best interest of my clients at all times. When I communicate on social media, do I have my buyers and sellers? Do I have my clients in mind? So you're out there. Maybe you're not even communicating on your company site. All right. When I communicate, do I have my buyers and sellers' backs in mind? I have to tell you, it's important. It's important. Well, Mark, God, that's not fair. I can't even live my life. You want to know something? Here's what I believe. I believe if you're in the business, you're in the business. It's one of those sayings, you can't be a little bit pregnant. Not that I know what it's like to be pregnant, but I will tell you this much. I do know what it means to be committed. And if you're committed to something, then commit. And it does limit some of the other things that you can do. But guess what? It's a lot easier if you're truly thinking from your client's thought process. If I have my clients in mind, you know what? Though I'd love to say X, I don't think I'm going to. So let me sum up this by giving you a check on your belief system. In my eyes, it sums up to this belief. Do you believe for something to be good, for something to be beneficial to you as a sales executive, that it has to be beneficial to your buyers and sellers? And I will tell you this, I believe that to be entirely true. And don't get caught up into things that really have no effect on buyers and sellers. You know what? I want a bigger office. I'm buying this XYZ for my office because I like it. And it really has no bearing with my clients. Come on, let's not skew this to what the message is. I'm talking about the things that do interact with sales executives and clients. See, if you don't truly believe that what's good for you has to be good for buyers and sellers, then you'll make different decisions. What's interesting to me, when I do agent interviews from new agents to seasoned agents, I will say probably right around 10 to 15% of the agents, the questions they ask have to do with, what is your company going to do, Mark, that's in the best interest of my buyers and sellers? I love that question. I love all questions around that. Because you know what it tells me about that sales executive? They get it. They're making decisions that certainly they've got to care about how it affects them. And they ask questions that are more solely directed to their situation. But clearly they're also concerned about, okay, when it comes to those joint decisions that affects me and my clients, Mark, what is your company going to do to protect my clients? What is your company going to do to help me do a better job with my clients? That is clearly a mindset that shows me that they are a client-focused thinker. In summing this up, as always, talk is cheap. You have to walk the walk. And if you really want to grow your business and have it continue to be fruitful and expand for years to come, then you have to incorporate this thought process, this client thought process, this client mindset. I promise you, it will not only grow your business in the long run, but it'll grow it in the short run as well. If you felt today's information was valuable, please, oh please, like it and share it. I so appreciate it. Next week, I'm extremely excited to let you know that I have a special guest, and we are going to talk about the VAC 2.0. But no, we're not going to talk about how to utilize the VAC 2.0. We've got training on that going on virtually daily, be it which market. So that's going to continue for a very, very long time. Well, we're going to talk about next week, okay, with Ken, who created the entire back-end system for all of our companies, is how do we use it to drive our business forward? Why do we use it, okay? And how is this really going to help me take my business to the next level? So it won't be the how to use the system. It'll be why we use the system. Have a great week, everybody, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.